Welcome back to the Explainer. So today we're diving straight into day 16 of our ongoing series, and we are zeroing in purely on a TypeScript code review. Let's just jump right in. Now, to keep things totally manageable, our focus today is hyper-specific, day 16. We're not getting bogged down in the entire sprawling codebase right now. Instead, we're just zooming in on today's targeted challenges. And for this particular stage, we are entirely in the TypeScript arena. That means, strict typing, structural contracts, compile time safety, the whole shebang. So our review mindset absolutely has to shift to match that. Here's our quick procedural checklist for the review. We're going to be looking at 4 critical areas: any misuse, missing types, unsafe assertions, and interface design. Let's break these down. Putting ourselves in the active, investigative role of the code reviewer, the very first thing we have to ask is there any misuse present? And when I say any, I literally mean the any type in TypeScript. Using any is honestly like turning off your smoke detectors just because you burnt toast once. It turns off the type checker entirely. We've really got to ask ourselves, is the code using any because of some strict third-party limitation, or is someone just trying to bypass the safety net? Right after that, we hunt for missing types. Look, if misusing any is like active sabotage, missing types, well, that's just passive negligence. When function returns are left undefined, the compiler basically has to guess. And guess what? Guessing leads to runtime crashes. Every single piece of data flowing through the app absolutely needs an explicit contract. Moving on, we tackle unsafe assertions. When a developer uses the as keyword, they're essentially overriding the compiler, right? They are forcing a type onto a value that might not actually hold true at runtime, which is a massive red flag. We really have to scrutinize these to make sure they aren't just slapping a band-aid over underlying architectural flaws that are definitely going to break later on. Now, take a second to notice the shift in our thinking here. The first 3 items on our checklist, misusing any, missing types, and unsafe assertions, those are purely defensive. We're out there actively hunting for bugs and errors. But interface design, that is an entirely different beast. It's constructive. Here we're actually evaluating the foundational blueprint and the overall health of the architecture. So with that mental checklist locked in, any misuse, missing types, unsafe assertions, and interface design, let's put this into practice and talk about how to actually enforce it. Let's jump into a rapid-fire sequence here to build up our review rhythm. First up, fixing any misuse. Honestly, don't just sit there looking for the keyword manually. Leverage your ESENT rules. Flag these escape hatches automatically so they never even make it to the review stage in the first place. Immediately following that, you want to be rooting out missing types right at the source. Make absolutely sure your tsconfig has strict mode enabled, specifically no implicit any. That way, the compiler does all the heavy lifting of finding those invisible gaps for you. Next up, we tackle those unsafe assertions head-on. You should really question every single forced cast. Pushback. Suggest using type guards or runtime validation schemas instead of just relying on the as keyword to blindly trust the data. And finally, we arrive at interface design. Once the tactical line-by-line errors are cleared out, take a step back. Ask yourself, do these interfaces actually accurately model the domain? Because getting this right means way easier onboarding for the next developer who has to touch this code. It is literally what officially elevates good code into great code. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a final, provocative thought to really challenge your process. Ask yourself, does your interface design survive the presence of unsafe assertions, missing types, and any misuse? Think about it. If your foundational design is truly robust, developers won't even feel the need to cheat the type system just to make things work. Keep these 4 pillars in mind, and you will drastically elevate your next code review.